Did you get smacked when you were a child? Did you get smacked as a child? Were you smacked by your parents or something? Did you get smacked? This time we pointed out some reasons why parents shouldn't smack their children. One of them where you're teaching your child that it's normal to be physical or violent to another. Instead of using their mouth or instead of using communication, then they prefer to use their hands because from childhood they've been taught how to use their hands, being abused, being violent or physical to one another. Because of that, it's not advisable that you smack your child. Okay, we as well pointed out that you can harm your child in the process of smacking them. Sometimes you leave a scar on their body. Sometimes they get injured. Or the process of smacking them, you can hurt them. Or the process of smacking them, you injure them. That's the reason why you shouldn't smack your child. We also pointed out that children could develop anxiety-related issues and medical struggles, according to some research as well. So because of that, you shouldn't smack your child. We went on to say that if you get used to smacking, what other method would you use to contain their behavior if they get used to smacking? If you're smacking your child consistently and they are used to the smacking, they believe that there's no other way you can do. It's only smacking, so they're used to it. They keep on doing the same thing they're doing because at the end of the day, the only thing you can do is just to smack them. When they get to that stage, what other methods will you use? Understand? So those are things you put into consideration. Understand? When you're smacking your child. Understand? I know some of our mates, when we were growing, even before, even if they come back home, they will just go and bring the cane to give to their parents because now there's nothing else they can do. They just already lie down on the floor for them to smack them, for them to whip them with the cane, because that's the only thing their parents know how to do. Understand? So when it gets to that stage, what are you going to do? Which other way can you control it? Understand? Well, what we're discussing this evening, I just want to know how you felt. How did you perceive the smacking when your parents or your teachers in school smack you? How did you perceive it? It wasn't, to be frank with you, it wasn't a good experience. I remember those days when if I went out, because when I was a kid, I really liked to go play football a lot. And my parents, and then they're not in support of it a lot because they say that it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of my time. The time I used to study books and all stuff, do my homework and everything, I'll go and use it to play football. Understand? So when I finish playing and come back home, I say I'm gonna receive my own portion of flogging. Understand? So sometimes what happens when you finish going out, coming in, get to your house, what happens? You are scared of going into the house because you already know what's going to happen. You're going to stay outside. Sometimes you stay in your friend's house just to stay there for a long time. You come back very late because of what? Because of the punishment. They're gonna wipe. They're gonna like flog you big time. They're gonna like smack you a lot, and you're gonna stay there. You understand? That fear only. The fear only. It's traumatizing. The fear, remembering that they're gonna get the kind of pain they're gonna give you. And when parents are flogging you, in Africa, they don't mess about. It's not the way they do here. They will just smack in your bottom or your legs or hands or something like that. No, it's a proper flogging. Understand? So it's seriously, psychologically, it's painful. It's something that you don't want to experience. But they don't really know. They believe that what they are doing is right, or what they are doing is what they are correcting the child. Understand? But the funny thing is that after smacking you that day, it will not stop you from going again the next day to go and do the same thing again. Because after flogging me, after they smacking me, after the same, like today, all I'll do, I'll cry. After crying, I'll share my tears. I close my eyes, they go to sleep. The next morning, I already know where I'm going, because once I finish school, come back, I have to go to football. That is it. That's what I want to do that period. And they don't like it. So what happens? They keep doing the same thing over and over again. Do you understand? That is part of it. That's what is happening. And it's still happening today. It's still happening today. So many homes, because it's accepted in that culture to smack a child. It's accepted that you need to smack your child, you need to beat your child to correct them, to teach them that what they are doing is wrong. It's accepted. So they keep on doing it to the extent that some are abusing it. They're abusing the kids. You can see some people, some families, you take your child and give to them. They become a child. Understand? The way they will treat the child, or the way they will, when they are punishing the child, they just put it that way. When they're punishing the child, the punishment, the way they will beat the child up. If you open their back, you see a lot of scars, a lot, with the cane. You see the scars in the back, their legs, hands, everywhere. You understand? Just in the name of correction. You know, it's painful. Really, it's painful. It's traumatizing. You know, I know about 90% of people, 90% of children that grow in Africa, 70s, 80s, they experience that a lot. If it's not in their house, they get smacked. They get smacked in school. Get smacked in school. If you come late, for example, if you go into school, primary schools, go in some secondary schools, if you come late, the headmistress or headmaster will be at the gate waiting for you. As you're coming in, they will just put you aside to stay one side. They will just kneel you down. As you're kneeling down, you're receiving your cane. Sometimes 12 strokes of cane, 10 strokes. It depends. They be smacking you with a cane. You see the cane breaking someone's body, smacking you. What is the problem? The child came late to school. Did you even ask the child, why did you come late? Maybe the child walked 2-3 miles just to get to school. Sometimes they come to school without eating. They have no food to eat at home. Sometimes there's no parent at home to train them, just like, to put their clothes and all that. They come to school. They walk from home to school. Getting to school, they're late. You're still doing what? Smacking. Okay. That is how it is. Those are the experiences majority of people experience in Africa, experience over there. Like I said, in the Western world, so many countries in the Western world, they're still practicing this. Some already abolish it, some already ban it. That if you try in any way to be physical to your child, if you try in any way, to punish your child with smacking, but maybe bottom legs or anyhow you want to try. Understand? It's a criminal offense. Understand? So that's what's happening. They're doing that. Why? Because they believe that children, they cannot defend themselves. If you cannot do that to an adult, if you do that to an adult, what happens? The adult, what happens? It's an assault, isn't it? When you smack an adult, right? So doing that to the child, because you can do it to the child, because the child cannot do nothing, isn't it? So that is it. They abolish it. They ban all those kind of things. Your parents might even send you to your grannies for you to go to stay with them. They will do same. They smack the hell out of you. Understand? You do something wrong. Just in the name of what? Teaching the child a lesson. Just for the child to be corrected something they did wrong. They still use the same verse, like I said. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Spare the rod and spoil the child. So when they use that, they say that if they don't punish the child, if they don't smack the child, if they don't flog the child, like I said, or if they don't beat the child, that the child will not know, they will never learn, and then they will never be corrected. You understand? Yeah, some parents, you work for them. Some kids, after smacking them, they change their ways, they start behaving well. You understand? Well, some of them, when they get used to the smacking, there's nothing else the parents can do. And you start seeing that those kids, instead of them to get better, they get worse. You get me? They get worse. So at the end of the day, as a parent, you know how you manage or how you control your own children, or how you communicate to your children, or how you punish your children, because children will always be children anyway. Understand? Like when we were growing, we receive our own portion of the punishment. And at the end of the day, understand, we all grow to become whatever we become. Get me? But some parents get to the extent that when they realize that what they did was wrong, they apologize. They apologize, say to you, I'm sorry about what we're doing. It's ignorant. Maybe I could have done something better. I could have found another way, to resolve the issue. I could have found another way to communicate to the child. Because the scars never forget. It never leave you, because emotionally, psychologically, you always remember. And when you have your own children, sometimes you realize that maybe because of the way parents treated you, or the way maybe you raised, the way you received the thorough beating, you might not like to do that to your kids. Some, they will take it as a normal thing. They will still do the same to their kids. They will still smacking their kids and beating them up regularly when they did something wrong. But like we normally say on this program, no parent is a bad parent. It depends on how you choose to raise your kids. It depends on how you choose in your own family to be with your kids. You understand? Or if the beat you or the smacking didn't do you any wrong, good for you. Or if he eats, I don't think that if you remember what you passed through, what you went through in the hands of your parents, or what you went through in the hands of your teachers, or what you went through in the hands of your senior students, the senior students in your school, all those kind of things you remember, all these things. Psychologically, it has some, it affects you psychologically, and because of that, when you raise your hands to hit your kids, you remember that, how you felt. That is not a good thing to do. Understand?